Is my screen visible to you? Okay. So good morning all. We have completed with the first and second unit, right? Okay. So there might be two discrepancies where they're in the MT examination, right? For this digital electronics. So those are noted, okay? And shortly we'll give you some notification for that, okay? We'll also give you the I1 marks, okay? Will not provide subject-wise sheet. You will get the total combined sheet for the I1 result, okay? For all the subjects. So that's what we are waiting for, that sheet, okay? So once it will come from exam coordinator, we'll give you, okay? I think diploma students are joined, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so we'll start with the third unit. You know that now we have very less time to cover the contents, okay? And first and second unit, with that concepts, you can understand the third unit, okay? So all the recordings are available on the Bodhi tree, okay? You have to join the Bodhi tree. Those who are not joined till it, direct second year students, okay? You can just go through the videos of first and second unit. You will be having some lectures, okay? So that time we'll discuss for that, okay? So till that time you can enroll for the Bodhi tree, okay? And you can just start for watching the videos, okay? Basic videos.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so in today's lecture, we'll start with the unit 3. You know that your IE2, it is scheduled next week, right? For that, unit 3, it is there. The part from unit 3 that will be covered before IE2, that will be there as a syllabus for IE2. Okay. So we'll start with the next unit, that is sequential circuits. Students, can you just tell me whether if means if I will post the videos, it is comfortable for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
See, what is the point for this particular subject? Maybe you have to watch the videos 2-3 times, then only you will understand the concepts for lab also. Okay. So means you can take the benefit of those videos if it will be posted on the Bodhi tree, right? So because you know that there are 2 lectures weekly for this subject, okay, and we cannot take the extra lectures because we know that already diploma students are also having the extra timetable and all that, okay? So during the live lecture, I will cover the contents, but those contents are not possible to cover during that period. I will post the videos for that on the Bodhi tree. Okay, so we'll start with the sequential circuits. Okay, so unit 3, that is the sequential circuit. Unit 2, it was based on the combinational circuits. Okay, and unit 3, now we are going to start with the sequential circuits. Okay, so what is the first difference between the combinational circuits and sequential circuits? See, in the combinational circuits, we have seen where the output is dependent on the present input. Okay, whatever the circuits we have designed, for that only the logic gates are required. Okay, but in the sequential circuit, here we can use the logic gate and along with the memory unit. Okay, so along with the logic gates, we can also use the memory unit. That is nothing but the sequential circuit. So sequential circuit is the combination of combinational circuit and memory. Okay. In sequential circuit, the present output is depending on the present input and past output. Okay. In sequential circuit, I'm just again going through this particular point. Okay, this is very important. In sequential circuit, the present output is depending on the present input. Just wait. Okay, in sequential circuit, present output is depending on the present input and past output as well. Okay, versus in the combinational circuit, it depends only on the present input. Okay, so just I will explain it, how the diagram of sequential, block diagram of sequential. So in the combinational circuit, where the output is dependent on the present input. Okay, but in the sequential circuit, there is one more element, that is memory element. Okay, that is connected to input. Okay, so in this case, the output is dependent on the present input as well as past output. So this memory element stores the data of past output. Okay, so for that, this memory element, it is nothing but used to store the data. Okay, so that's what in the sequential circuit, the output is dependent on the present input and the past output. Okay, so it is nothing but the combination of combinational circuit and the memory. Okay, so what is clock? Just now we have seen memory element. Memory element, it is nothing but to store the data. Okay, will be required few latches. Latch, it is nothing but we can store the information. That information, it will be getting locked in the circuit. Okay, so there are two concepts, that is latch and clock. Okay, so what is clock? Clock, it is nothing but it is a signal, right? And it is used in the digital circuit. Okay, so why it is required? See, in sequential circuit, there are many processes are going on. Okay, as the output of one circuit is the input of the another. Okay, so there should be a control over the processes as they cannot operate randomly. Okay, so we need the sequence of those circuits. Okay, so it is nothing but clock, called as a clock. We'll require the clock. Okay, so with the help of clock, it decides the time of the input. You know that, like the common clock, it decides our daily routine. Okay, so we can design the speed of the circuit by changing the frequency. Okay, so what is clock? Clock, it is nothing but a signal in a digital circuit that goes from low to high. Okay, then again till or high to low. Okay, there are two stages, leading stage, and I will show you that particular diagram. We'll see in detail. Okay, later on, wherever it is required in terms of in the flip flop. Okay, so again, one more point for the clock. It is nothing but a signal which is having a duty cycle that is 50%. Okay. So before to going with this particular concept, I will just show you. Clock, it is nothing but the rectangular wave, right? Rectangular blocks, okay? Where this is nothing but the one complete cycle, that is the time period, we can say. Okay, this is the leading edge, and this is nothing but on, and this is nothing but off, right? High and low. Okay, maybe you know this. So the memory elements are working with the different clock pulses. Okay, so in this case, here, this will be a leading edge. Whenever the signal we are considering it is 0, okay, and it is going from low to high, okay. So, and after that, at this particular stage, it is known as falling edge. Okay, this is nothing but the time period. The frequency is dependent on the time period, 1/t, right? So when we need, how it is directly connected with the sequential circuits. When we need the circuit works faster, then we need to increase the frequency. Okay. If we need to increase the frequency, means we need to decrease the time period, right? So that it is required in the sequential circuit. Okay. So why we use the clock? Because we don't want to change the input randomly. Okay. Because for a particular input, output it may be the same. Okay. And we want to use the output at a particular time. Okay, so you will understand this when we'll see that particular topic of flip-flop. Okay, what is the actual use of clock? Now there are two types of classification in the sequential circuit, that is synchronous and asynchronous. Okay, synchronous means what? All the memory elements works with the same clock pulse. Okay, you can say clock pulse over here. Okay. Versus in the asynchronous, the memory elements are working with the different clock pulse. Okay, so sequential circuits whose behavior, it depends upon the sequence. Okay, just now I have said there may be a output that dependent on the sequence of the input. Okay, if it is dependent on the sequence of the inputs, that is known as a asynchronous. Okay, so the behavior that depends upon the sequence in which the input signal change, it is known as asynchronous. Okay, and this synchronous means what? Synchronous means nothing but a flip-flop. Okay, it is nothing but a register, it is nothing but a counter. So a sequential circuit whose behavior can be defined from the knowledge of its signal at discrete instance of time. Okay, it is known as synchronous sequential circuit. So in this case, in this system, the memory elements are affected only at the discrete instance of time. Okay, not for all the instances. For few instances only, the output will be getting calculated based on the input it is provided. So that is nothing but the synchronous. Okay. So first we'll see there is a concept of 1-bit memory cell. Just now I have said what will be required in the sequential circuit? Memory. Okay. So how this memory will be getting stored? Okay. So whenever we want to store a particular bit, okay, in a memory, either it can be 1 bit, it can be 2 bit, okay, it can be multiple bits. But flip-flop can store only one bit of information. Okay. So before to start with the flip-flop, I will give you why the flip-flop it is known as a memory element. Okay. Or there are again one more concept, that is latch. Okay. So before that, what is mean by 1-bit memory cell, that we'll see. See, 1-bit memory cell is designed using two cross-couple inverters, that is N1 and N2. Okay, N1 and N2. You can see it. Here the NAND gates are used as an inverter. Okay, I can use as an inverter NOT gate. I can use as an inverter NAND gate. I can use the inverter as a NOR gate, because you know that if both the inputs are same, so the NAND gate will work like same as a NOT gate, right? Okay, if the input is 0, then it gives as a 1. If the input is 1, then output will be 0, like that. Okay, so it is known as a bistable element as it contains only two states: logic 1 state that always represents high and logic 0 states that always represents low. Okay, now I will show you how it will work actually. Okay, why it is known as 1-bit memory cell. See, I'm using the NAND gate. Okay, and here this is actually we are using always 2 input NAND gate, right? But here I want to pass only 1 bit. I want to pass only 1 input. So what I can do? Okay, with this I can bypass single input as to both the inputs. Okay, so I'm considering these as supports. Okay, here name it is not given A. Okay, the output I am considering it as a Q. Another NAND gate. Here it is given directly, but generally we are using the symbol like this. Okay, whenever we are providing only single input, we need to bypass it to both the inputs, so we are using this symbol. Okay, so both are allowed. Now in this case, you can see okay, this is nothing but the circuit for the 1-bit memory cell. Here you can see 2 NAND gates. We are providing 2 inputs, one input A to first NAND gate, second input B to another NAND gate, Q and Q bar. Okay, so what is the logic behind this? Okay, how it will store 1 bit? See, let's consider if we'll be having a value 0. Okay, and for this B, when A will be having a value 0, B will be having a value 1. Okay, so you know that the NAND gate truth table I will write over here. A, B and Y. 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. The output will be 1, 1, 1, 0. So means if any one of the input will be 0, the output will be 1, right? This is the NAND gate logic, right? So if I'll be providing A as a 0, okay, in that case, what will happen? The output of this will be 1. Okay, here this truth table is not required, it's required for the next example. Now, in this case, if it is 1, here you can see I have used one mechanism. What is known, what is mean this? This is means feedback mechanism. Okay, the feedback mechanism, what it gives, we can provide the input of the output of the one circuit as an input to another circuit. So here you can see the output of this, okay, output of first NAND gate, it is passing as an input to another NAND gate, right? Okay, so this one over here, it is coming. Okay, when it will be 1, in that case, what will be the output of Q bar? It will be 0, right? So whenever Q will be 1, Q bar will be 0, right? Let's consider, suppose this A value is 1, okay? In that case, what will be the output of this? That is 0. again this with this feedback mechanism, okay, this will be 0 that we are passing to B, and this will be 1. Okay, so means when Q will be 0, Q bar will be 1, right? If I will pass again, suppose this 1 over here, okay, I will again get 0. Okay, so likewise this process is continuously going on. Means in the memory either 0 will be getting stored or 1 will be getting stored, but always you will get the Q and Q bar are complement to each other. If Q is 1, Q bar will be 0, and if Q is 0, then Q bar will be 1. Okay, so likewise this is stored in the memory. So that's what it is known as 1-bit memory cell. Why it is known as 1-bit memory cell? Because either it stores 0 or 1. Okay, so that's what it is known as bistable device. Okay, so here you can see it is known as bistable element as it contains only two states, either logic 1 state that is high or logic 0 states low, right? So when Q equal to 0, Q bar equal to 1, right? This is the truth table of the NAND gate. Now, with this concept, I will tell you what is latch. Okay, this is what we have seen. This is we have seen that is just what is 1-bit memory cell. Okay, now this 1-bit memory cell, it is used. The same concept is it is used in the SR latch. Okay, SR latch, it is nothing but set and reset. Now here you can see that either we can give the value, either we can provide the value of A as a 0 or 1. Okay, now with this same concept, I can use the SR latch, that is nothing but set and reset. Set means always the value goes to logic 1, and reset means the values that goes to logic 0. Okay, so SR latch, that is nothing but the set reset latch. Okay, latch, it is nothing but used to store. Okay, it is nothing but acts like a memory. Okay, so here you can see one more diagram for this. This is not a flip flop. Okay, we have not started with the flip flop. This is the latch. Okay, where we can store some information. The information, it is getting locked. Okay, but how this information it will be getting locked? It will be you can understand with the help of this example. Okay, now here you can see instead of using directly this feedback mechanism, and here we are passing only one input, right? So instead of this, here I am using two inputs. Okay, so if I am using these two inputs, will it work? Okay, and how it will work? So before the SR flip flop, we'll be having a concept of SR latch. Okay, SR latch, it is nothing but set reset latch. Okay, so in this, okay, see here I am providing two inputs. One instead of A and B, this is now S and R. S means set, R means reset. Okay, this is a two input NAND gate. Okay, and this is the output that represents Q and Q bar. Okay, this is the NAND gate. So I will write over here the truth table of NAND gate. Okay, now see the first step. What we want always these two should be complement to each other. Okay, in a latch, the information will be getting stored. Okay, how the information will be getting stored? See, let's consider all the combination of input. Okay, so I'll be writing over here one truth table, and accordingly we'll insert the values of that. Okay, S and R the input, Q and Q bar is the output. Okay. So when the value of S will be 1, okay, and when the value of R will be 0. Okay, let's consider this case. Okay, first 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. Okay, we'll start from the 0th state, we'll start from 1, 1. Okay, because it is a memory state. Okay, so I will start from this point when S will be 1 and R will be 1. Okay, when S and R both will be 1, in that case, how this particular flip-flop will latch will work? See, when we are considering S and R both are 1, that times I don't know what is the value of Q. Okay, so assume first, I'm considering first Q equal to 0. Okay, we are assuming because either Q can be 0 or it can be 1. So we'll consider both the conditions. So if Q is equal to 0, in that case, you can see this value, this particular output we are passing as an input to this NAND gate. So when this will be 0, if any one of the input is 0 in the NAND gate, the output will be 1, right? So in that case, what will be the value of Q bar? 1, right? We'll get 1 because this is 0. 0 in 0, 1 means we'll get output as a 1. Now this same value, it is again passing as an input to this NAND gate. So this 1, right? So if this both are 1, for 1, 1, what is the output for the NAND gate? That is 0, right? So I have passed previously the input as a 0. Okay, I'm getting over here Q bar as a 1. So if it is 0, I'm getting over here as a 1, right? Again, I'm passing this. Okay, so again, I'm getting the same input. So whatever the past state output it is there, same output I'm getting for the next state, right? So again, if I will pass this, again I will get over here the same one. So this process will be again continuously going on. So with the help of when S will be 1 and R will be 1, this is known as memory state. Why memory state? Because whatever the past input is there, the same I will get as a present input. Okay. Let's consider over here. If Q is equal to 1, okay, S1, R1, okay, and Q is 1. In that case, this will be 1, right? 1, 1, 1, 1, that is nothing but 0. So Q bar will be 0, right? Getting it? If it is 1, it is 0. Yes, it is complement. Now 0, again, this we are passing. So 1, 0 means output will be this 1, 1, 0. So here the output will be 0, 1. Output will be 1, right? Again, this will 1, again 0. So again, I will be getting 1. So though I will be finding the next states, I'll be getting the same output. Okay, whatever the input whatever the output I am considering previously. Okay, so what is the conclusion from this? This state, it is known as memory state. Okay, this state, it is known as memory state because the present output is dependent on the past output. Okay. Okay, this is done. Now 1, 1. Now for 1, 0. Okay. See over here. Now 1. If S is 1 and R is 0. Okay. What will happen in case of if S is 1 and R is 0? If S is 1, R is 0. If any one of the input is 0, okay, I know this value now, okay. So in that case, instead of getting this, I can consider the value of Q either 0 or 1, or if I know that the value of this is 0, okay, directly I can consider the output of this as a 1, right? I can consider that because any one of input I am getting it as a 0, so I can consider this is 1. Means now I am getting Q bar as a 1. Right? Passing this as an input to this. So this will be 1, right? 1, 1. So what I am getting over here? 0, right? This is 0. Again, we are passing this 0, 0, right? 0, 0. That is nothing but 1. Again, so we are getting this. So whenever this will be 0, I am getting this as a 1. Right? Now, see, I'm writing over here, Q is 0, I'm getting, and Q bar is 1. Okay? For 1, 0, I'm getting Q as a 0, and Q bar is a 1. Right? We have not assumed here the value of Q. In the previous case, we have assumed the value of Q is 0. Why? Because both S and R values are 1. So that's what we have assumed that. Okay? But in this case, we are getting for 1, 0, that is 0, 1. Means this is known as reset state. This is known as set state, sorry. Why? Because here you can see whenever S will be 1, always you will get the output as a 0. Okay? So, let's consider now the case, this case S equal to 1 and R equal to 0. We are getting Q equal to 0 and Q bar equal to 1, right? I'm writing over here. Why specifically? Because now I want to check whether this output, it will be getting stored in the memory as it is or not. Okay. Now, once this is done, suppose this output, it is already getting stored in the memory in this particular latch. Okay. And now I'm changing the inputs. Suppose now I'm changing this input. Now I'm taking it S equal to 1 and R equal to 1. I'm not changing the output. I'm keeping as it is Q equal to 0. And I will check it whether I'm getting the same output or not. Okay, when S equal to 1, R equal to 1 and Q equal to 0, whether I'm getting the same output or not. So when this will be 0, right? Any one of the input is 0, he will get 1. Right? Again, this will be passing as the input and this will be as a 0. So means though I am considering now S equal to 1 and R equal to 1, but if this previous output, it is stored in the memory, okay, so that's what we'll get again the output Q equal to 0 and Q bar equal to 1. Okay, so this particular state, again one more time we have concluded that this state acts like a memory state. Okay, previously only I have told for this 1, 1. So this state, likewise you can check it by keeping the previous output same and you can change the inputs. Okay, so you can prove that this is the memory state, right? Now with this, I will change the inputs now. S equal to 0 and R equal to 1. Okay. With S equal to 0 and R equal to 1. Okay, with S equal to 0 and R equal to 1, if any one of the input is 0, what will be the output? I'm not assuming the output over here because S, this is set. This set value is 0. Okay, so the output I am getting it as a 1. If we'll pass this 1, 1, so we'll get Q bar as a 0. So both are complement to each other. Right? Again, if we'll pass this 0 to this, so 0, 0, 0, again I am getting 1. again I will get 0. Means always this will be complement to each other, 1, 0. Right? Means this is a valid state. This is a valid output where I am getting for 0, 1. What is the output I am getting? Q is 1 and Q bar is 0. Right? Okay. Now, this is the last state, that is when S and R both are 0. See, now this is very important point. When S and R both are 0, okay, that times if both are 0 means here you will get Q equal to 1 and Q bar is also equal to 1. Right? But what we want, only one bit it can be stored in the memory. If Q it is 1, then Q bar compulsory it should be 0. Or if it is 0, then it should be 1. Okay, so this is the invalid case. Okay, this is the invalid state. Okay, so here I will write invalid. Why? Because always these two should be complement to each other. Because we have used inverter, we are using the feedback mechanism. Okay, so whenever the value of Q will be 0, always Q bar will be 1. But this is not satisfied for this condition where S and R both are 0. So this is the invalid. Okay, for 0, 1 we are getting 1, 0. For 1, 0 we are getting 0, 1. Means Q is 0, Q bar is 1. And for 1, 1, this is a memory state. Means the present output is dependent on the past output. It is same. Whatever the past output it is there, that will be the next output. Okay, so the same here over here it is given. You can see it. For 0, 0 it is invalid. For 0, 1 it is 1, 0. For 1, 0 it is 0, 1. And for 1, 1 no change. Means you are getting the same output. Okay, for the present, for the past as well as for the present. Okay, and here also you can see it. This is the invalid state, and how it is just proved that it is proved that when S equal to 1, R equal to 0, Q equal to 0, Q bar equal to 1. And if we'll keep the same output and if we'll change the input again for S equal to 1 and R equal to 1, we'll get no change in the output. Okay, so here you can see that. Okay, so this is nothing but a latch. Okay, so what are the points you have to remember over here? Always the output Q and Q bar are always complementary. The circuit has two stable states. Okay, in one stable state Q is equal to 1. Okay, which is referred always as a, if Q equal to 1, then it is known as one state or set state. Okay, whereas in the other state, if Q equal to 0, which is referred as a reset state. Okay, so if the Q value is 1, then it is known as set, and if the Q value is 0, then it is known as reset state. Okay, if the circuit is in the one state, means if it is in the set state, it continues to remain in this state. Okay, and similarly, if it is in the 0 state, it continues to remain in this state only. So this property of this circuit, it is referred to as a memory. Okay, that is, it can store 1 bit of digital information. So it is nothing but known as latch. Why? Because this information is locked and latched in this particular circuit. Okay, so now here you can see that. See, if I want to enter some particular desired digital information, once I am entering this information is getting changed based on this input, right? If I am entering here, over here 0, because of we have used the inverter. Okay. So for that, we are just providing another mechanism for the latch where we are using this particular circuit. This will work in a similar way. Okay, now I'm moving towards the flip-flop. How the latch and flip-flop works. Okay, so now this is SR flip-flop. Okay, so what I have used these inverters over here. So I have used here 4 inverters. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Previously in the latch, so flip flop, which is having latch along with the 2 NAND gates. Okay, so this is the same part that just now we have seen, right? For latch. Okay, the working will be same. Let's consider this is G1, this is G2, this is G3, and this is G4. Okay. So what we have done, we have replaced now G1, G2 previous. In the previous diagram, we have seen only these two, right? With 2 input NAND gates. Okay. In the first diagram, we have seen only 1 input, but now these are the 2 input NAND gates. The other input terminal of the NAND gate can be used to enter the desired digital information. Now these two, we are keeping it separately just to enter the information. Okay. And now here you can see one more we are passing, that is nothing but a clock. Okay. So what is the use of clock over here? Okay. The block diagram of SR, it is like this. SR, we are providing a clock. Okay. Q and Q bar. Right. So this is the SR flip-flop. This is the block diagram. And this is actually the circuit diagram. Okay. So see how it will work. When there may be two cases. If the clock is 0 and if the clock is 1. How the circuit will work and why we are using clock, that you will come to know at the end of this topic. Okay. So to avoid certain conditions, will be required a clock. So let's consider now if the clock is 0. Okay, I'm considering suppose the clock is 0. Okay, how this particular circuit will work? If the clock is 0, see, this clock, it is nothing but as a second input. Okay, so I will not consider this part because there are 2 separate inputs. Okay, shortly I will explain this and we'll stop. Okay. So when the clock will be 0, okay, so at both the side, the clock input, it is going as a 0. Okay, any one of the input is 0. Okay, no need to consider. Now I'm not considering the value of S and R because I know that the clock is 0. If the clock input is 0, means if it is low, right, that times if it will be applied to this NAND gate inverter, what will be the output of this? This will be 1. Right? Even irrespective of the value of S and R. Right? Now when this values, this will be 1 and this will be 1. Okay? We need to assume some value of Q. So I will assume Q equal to 0. Q equal to 0. If Q equal to 0, that time 0, 1. What will be the output? It will be 1. Right? So I am getting the complement of this. Now if I will pass this 1 over here, again I will be getting the 0. Right? Again if I will pass this, I will be getting 1. Again if I will be passing this, I will be getting 0. Again if I will be passing this, I will be getting 1. Means when the clock is 0, that time whatever the irrespective of the value of S and R, I am getting the next state it is the same as the previous state, right? Next state, I'm considering this. Previous state, I'm considering this. If I will assume Q as a 1, I will get Q bar as a 0. Again, same output I will get. Okay. So based on this, here you can see just I will show you this particular table. See over here in the SR, this truth table is visible to you students.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In this, you can see the last two rows. Okay. No, this truth table, it is not there. This is for clock equal to 1 only. So I will just will write only over here, and at the end I will in the next lecture I will show you the truth table, because in the truth table all the inputs are present for clock equal to 1. Now whenever the clock equal to 0, irrespective of the value of S and R, so I will write S don't care, R is also don't care, irrespective value of S and R, Q n plus 1, this is nothing but the next state. It is dependent on the present state. So I'm considering Q n plus 1 means this is the next state. So next state, always I am getting whatever the previous state it is there, as same like that. If it is 0, I will get 0. If it is 1, then I will get 1. Okay. So irrespective of these inputs, when the clock is 0. And when the clock will be 1, okay, if the clock will be 1, in that case, the circuit will work same like we have seen in the SR latch. When the clock will be 1. In the previous part, we have seen this particular, right, how SR latch will work. Okay. So when the clock will be 1, in that case, the same output you will get. Okay. Likewise, here you are getting, but only the difference is that you can see here I have added one more NAND gate, right? And the clock is assigned to this NAND gate, okay, as an input. Okay. So I will continue with this topic in the tomorrow's lecture, right? You will be having the next lecture. So you will understand, because very much important concept, SR flip-flop. Okay. So for this condition, there are again 4 conditions for clock equal to 1. Okay. So we'll continue with this part tomorrow. If you are having any doubt in this particular topic till now, you can ask. Okay. In the PPT also, whatever I have explained now, this particular theory it is given. Okay. So you can just read it. What is SR flip-flop? Okay. Fine. If you are having any doubt, you can ask students. So in the unit 3, you have to start with the difference between the what is sequential circuit. You should know the difference between combinational and sequential. Okay. Then classification of sequential circuits, asynchronous, synchronous, that we have seen, right? What is meant by 1-bit memory cell? What is meant by latch? Okay. And what is meant by flip-flop? We have started with the flip-flop. Only the difference in the latch and flip-flop, it is that latch is also used to store the information. Flip-flop, it is also used to store the information. Only the difference is that in the flip-flop, we can use the clock. But in the latch, we have not used the clock to store the information. Okay. So if we will not use the clock, then which condition will occur? Okay. And for that condition should not occur. So that's what we are using the clock. So you will understand in the next lecture. Okay. That is nothing but one condition it is occurred. That is the race around condition. Okay. So for that will be required a clock. You take the attendance. A division 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All are present, I think 67, 68, 69, 70, 71. Diploma students 71, 2, 3, 4, 5, 76, 77, 78, 79 and 80. 80 is the last roll number, right?